A financial instrument, as we said, is cash. Very straightforward, very easy to understand. Does not need a lot of explanation. In today's times, cash is king. So therefore, it's that much more easier to understand. Financial instruments are also defined to mean equity instruments of another entity. So this is the example of the investment in equity shares that I spoke about, where the standard specifically defines that to be a financial asset. Important to note, there is no contractual right to collect cash here, because the right is only to the extent of the unpaid capital, and thereafter you're the owner of the company, and that's why this has been specifically included in the definition. So a financial asset is a cash, financial asset is an equity instrument of another entity. Now, financial asset is also a contractual right to receive cash, or a contractual right to receive another financial asset. So right to receive cash arises from a contract. Right to receive another financial asset, that also arises from a contract. Right? If one only stopped our understanding of the concept at this stage, there is one important element that we would have missed out from the entire gamut of accounting for financial instruments. Any quick thoughts? Once again, I'll keep the chat box open for a couple of minutes. If this was the only definition, what item would have got skipped from the accounting of a financial instrument, or what nature of contracts would have got skipped from accounting for financial instruments? So, right, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Because if one only looked at this part of the definition, derivatives would have never featured in the accounting, right? Because a derivative is not cash, a derivative is not an equity instrument. Now, a derivative may be a contractual right to receive cash, but that is only at the time of settlement, not otherwise. Right. Another view is settlement in entity's own equity. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's right. And that's exactly what we are coming to next. That a contractual right to exchange financial assets or liabilities under conditions that are potentially favorable to the entity. So what this means is that today, if I've entered into a derivative contract, say I've entered into an option contract, the option I have is to buy the asset at 10 rupees. At the balance sheet date, its market price is 15 rupees. Now, if this particular part of the definition was not there, derivative would not have got accounted at the balance sheet date. However, now when I look at this definition, it says, do you have a contractual right to exchange these assets under conditions that are potentially favorable? The answer is yes. Because today the asset in the market fetches 15, I have the option to buy it at 10. So I buy the option, exercise the option, buy it at 10, go to the market, settle it for 15. And this is how derivatives get scoped in. The other aspect, which was also brought out well in the chat box, is any instrument that gets settled in the entity's own equity can also be a financial asset. Right? So this is a situation where you use your own equity shares as currency, so to speak. This is also a definition of financial asset. So quick summary, it's a contractual right to receive cash or other assets, or contractual right to exchange assets, financial assets or liabilities under potentially favorable conditions. This is all of the accounting that we see from the standpoint of the holder of the asset. Right? All clear? Moving on,